issues. The building material, you should buy it, not he.
Yeah.
And you fail to buy them.
Yeah. You don't have the money to buy them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You fail to buy. You fail to buy the building. It's a breach of contract on your own side. So in other words, if there's any loss, you will hold yourself personally liable to yourself and to him too. Because if you let's say, and again it will depend on the way that the terms of the contract are written. That is absolutely important. They must be clearly stipulated and indicated. But whatever the case is, the example that you have given is very clear and simple and straightforward. You fail to any party in a contract who has failed to do or to perform his or her bit of the contract stands on the side of breaching the contract. Now, what will be the liability? It depends on in most instances, what they agree upon, or the losses that might be incurred by the other side. But in this case, you cannot hold him responsible for anything because you have failed to perform your part of the contract.
Okay. Will you say a little bit on subcontracting to somebody else?
Yes, that's subcontracting looks like agency, contract of agency. Also, although it's because in most agency contracts or agreement, you find people not acting directly for themselves, but they are acting for somebody else. But subcontracting, unless clearly stipulated in the agreement, in the original agreement between the two parties, that there should not be subcontracting. But the agreement, if the agreement is silent on subcontracting, and subcontracting is found to be necessary and useful, and it will add values, there's nothing wrong with subcontracting, provided, of course, that it's not meant to deceive or to, run away from your responsibility. Like there are people, because of the fact that they take so many contracts together at the same time. They take contract with you, with me, with somebody else, with another person. So they overload themselves with responsibilities. And they have to resort to subcontracting. The risk is that they will compromise quality. You understand? The risk is that they're going to compromise quality, and then the agreement was not between himself. It was not between the subcontractee and the original owner of the property. So the agreement was between the contractor and the owner. Now the contract is subcontracting another person because he has so many things. He has so many on his. He has a lot on his desk. In this case, there is no doubt that quality may be compromised, and also there is no doubt that he stands to deceive the other, and it becomes therefore un-Islamic.
Okay, doctor, we should go for our first break now. But before the break, this last question. This gentleman is not part of what we intend to discuss about today, but he will give you advice. He got married. He said it's almost now more than weeks. He couldn't perform his marital functions with his wife, and there's nothing wrong with him health-wise. He said, what should he do Islamically?
Why is it? What do you mean by there's nothing wrong when he cannot perform?
Yeah, before the wife comes, he could perform.
Yeah, but something happened that after the arrival of the wife, he's completely off.
Yeah,
so it happens sometimes, and in most cases it could be psychological. In most cases, it could be psychological, particularly those young men who are strictly, observing the principles of Islam. They never commit, they never had an affair with any woman whatsoever. There are people whose way of life is to stick to what Allah teaches, that they will never commit fornication. So for those that have never, had an affair with a woman before, in fact, they've never come near a woman, in many instances, their first experience, they will fail it. In many instances, they fail. Some of them, it takes them even months before they can recover. There are people that it takes them weeks. I have seen instances where people will come, they fail, they go out 2-3 weeks, they come, they fail again, they come 2-3 weeks, they fail again, up to the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, and because this is purely psychological. Although the Fullahs or the Jarankas will call them jinn, A, B, C, it might be true, it might be wrong, but the fact of the matter scientifically is that to a large extent it's psychological in nature. So, and that is why you will not rush to dissolve the marriage. Give them some time. Some of the ulama will tell you, give them 1 year.
What advice will you give?
Yeah, my advice is that let them take it easy. He knows very well that naturally there was nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
But this disruption comes maybe because of psychological pressure. And why it is difficult usually because of the tradition. Because we have a tradition that if a lady is just married for the first time, they want to know what happens.
Yeah.
After the consummation, what happens? Was she a virgin
Or not?
or not? And then everybody will be listening. In fact, sometimes the way we have it in our culture is very interesting. That women they will be within the same house or the same compound, trying to, wait whether they will hear any sound or noise, screaming or something like that, or whether when they wake up in the morning they will see blood spreading somewhere. So this is a huge pressure sometimes on the side of the man, particularly, not on the side of the woman. If the woman is fine, she will know that she is virgin, there is no problem with her. But for the man who has never had the experience before, in many instances, there are so many examples that I know from many people, they will fail. So give them some time. My advice to this person, let him take it easy. Let him pray to God Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are so many du'as in the tradition of Prophet Muhammad that he used. Even Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas, he can pray Allah to seek refuge, to protect him from Satan. This is the work of the Satan. And then eventually, let's give them time. And let people leave them in peace. Let them forget about them, leave them in peace. And he takes his time until he is able to, do something. And eventually, something will definitely happen, inshallah.
Okay, we take our first break now, inshallah. When we come back, Ikra continues.
خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك الرجعى أرأيت الذي ينهى عبدا إذا صلى أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمر بالتقوى أرأيت إن كذب وتولى ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. Welcome once again to Iqra. Now we'll open the lines for you to call and ask questions pertaining to what we are discussing today. The only number you can call will be displayed on your screens very soon, inshallah. But meanwhile, you can send your text messages to 9050200, 9050200. Those outside the country, you can call 4373910, 4373910. And for those of you inside the Gambia, you can call 4375905, 4375905. Doctor, we continue. Now, what of those who will use people to work for them and at the end of the day will not pay them?
That is again a very serious violation of and breach of contract. Prophet Muhammad has said it in a number of traditions, in which the message is the same, that when you engage the services of somebody, as soon as he finishes, pay him before this. In fact, like the Bustala or the terminology used is qabla an yajiffa araquhu. That is before the sweat. Before his sweat or her sweat gets dry, pay the person. That is part of exploitation. And all these are contractual in nature. What is stipulated in the contract, if it is that you must be paid as soon as the work is over, let the person be paid. If it is that you will be given an advance payment, then you do 75%, you give another advance payment, you completed your gift and the order. Let's follow the terms of the contract.
Okay, we have our first call now. We take it. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. We getting you?
Hello?
Yes, I'm getting you. How are you?
Fine, how's business?
Good, alhamdulillah.
Kalau
Yeah.
That God gives you long life and health.
Amen.